I'm Hailey.
And I'm Jessi.
And you're listening to
Personality Hire, the podcast where we're in season 2. Like, we're already in. Like, you saw our special guest.
You saw it?
You watched, you listened. And now we're back, baby. We're in official season 2 mode.
Inofficial. Inofficial. There's badges.
So by now you've seen that we had the pleasure of speaking with Mr. Jerry O'Connell.
Insane.
Dream come true.
No.
Honestly, dream come true.
So cool.
So cool. He was just about as magical as you can imagine. And if you watch the video on YouTube, like, this man is just like...
We're on Spotify.
Yeah. He's just look. Open your eyeballs and take a peek at what we're doing. But this man is like effervescent. He's like, I say this sometimes about people that I meet, but that man is glittery. Like, he is done and dusted, covered in glitter.
Said this term of glittery for many of years now. And she has like described certain people as glittery. And I understood it as someone who was, I think someone who has a lot of like,
performance
facing
friends.
Just someone who's like cool. I understood it. It was the day I met Jerry O'Connell. Or no, not even the day I met him, because the day I met him, he was performing. But when he came to our studio to film Personality Hire, the podcast, he was insanely glittery.
He was. I want to say one of the most fun things about him was that when he rolled up, first of all, he rolled up all on his own. He did his own thing. Like, he didn't need any help getting to where we were. He said, I don't need a car. I don't need any of that stuff.
The way I was texting him like his mother.
The other thing I want to point out is that this man just gave us we weren't going through any agents. We weren't going through any of his people.
I don't even know if we should tell people that. I think we can.
I think we can.
We kind of almost touched on it on the pod.
He has said this in previous pods that I've listened to, that this is just like his vibe. We were just directly coordinating with him. He rolled up all by himself. And from the minute we started rolling, we were already rolling before he walked in the door. And it just was like, what you saw was what you got with him. It was absolutely amazing. And then also at the end of it, which was really sweet, we wrapped. And then you hear him in our recording that we didn't put on, but we hear him in our recording. He was like, oh my gosh, let's get a picture. And he was like, let's get a picture. And I was like, we were so floating nice. On air. Just so excited that we could. So great. But all that to say, we are so happy that's in our catalog. We love him.
You gotta go listen to the episode.
You have to listen to it. And we just want to hit on that.
We're going to kill someone.
Okay. So all that to say, LOL smiley face, that we just wanted to say that we are so pumped up for season 2. We're officially in it.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing some more interviews this season. We're going to be hitting on some more topics. Hailey and I are going to be riffing and raffing together like we always do. So don't worry. We've got some surprises, but it's going to be the same old Personality Hire that you know and love going into season 2.
Even better.
So, yes.
Personality Hire 2.0. And it's so funny that we started off like we never talk about like how we're about to blast off into the episode, but we did blast off into this episode talking about our first guest. Well, I have been manifesting a guest for Yankee and I.
Do I know about this guest?
You know about this guest.
Oh, good.
Look at my face. Look at my face. Are you watching on Spotify or YouTube?
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking about.
Okay.
So right here, right now, Jessi, I have a gift for you. Do you smell?
Hailey!
This is who our guest is going to be.
Oh, my God.
Like, this is who.
Oh, I'm putting my mic down. Oh, my God.
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Oh, my God.
Papa, yes. Chew it to me, Poppy. I planned this for several weeks.
Oh my God, you have one too. Oh my God. Okay, Hailey just gifted me. Okay, time out. First of all, I love The Rock. I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
She loves him.
I'm sorry I just burst all of your eardrums, but I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Like, I love him. First of all, it started off as like a physical attraction. I think that he's a extremely handsome man. like in many ways. But then I grew to love him because he can act. He's an entertainer. He's a performer. He's genuine. He's a humanitarian.
I see what's happening here.
I just love everything about him. And Hailey just surprised me with a shirt that says, what does it say? It says, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? And I always do smell what he's cooking.
The Rock.
The Rock. And so now we have
Dwayne Rock
Johnson. And now we have matching
Johnson.
t-shirts. Hailey, this is the best surprise. And I would like to say, I would also like to manifest him.
Yeah. I think he's going to be, I think once we got Jerry O'Connell, I was like, we're getting The Rock as well.
Oh my gosh. If you have
they're giving personality hire vibes, and they're also giving dad vibes.
Time out. Can you hold my mic really quick?
Groot. We talk about dad so much on this pod, which is strange. Groot, if you're listening, it's because we're obsessed with you. So we talk about dad so often.
This feels better. I actually feel more myself.
Also, when you walked in with this beige sweater thing, I was like, I'm wearing a beige sweater.
I would like to say, if you have any connection to Mr. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I do know that he has a home here in the Atlanta area. Mr. Johnson, hold on one second. Let me. We can clip this and we can put this as a direct message to him right now. Okay. Hi, Mr. Johnson. My name is Jessi Ford Bacon.
And I'm Hailey Swartout.
And we are the hosts of Personality Hire. And as you can see, we are big fans of you, and we always smell what you're cooking. So we'd like to formally invite you to be a guest on our podcast to chat about why it's so important that you've been a personality hire throughout your entire career, your whole damn life. So anywho, that's it. That's it. Okay, guys. Anyway, wow. In the universe. Thank you for this.
Of course.
I was not expecting. This is a true surprise.
When I saw the shirt, I fell to the floor.
I also feel a little bit kind of silly because today the topic Hailey and I were going to talk about was women's intuition.
I was like, did you smell what Hailey was cooking?
My sniffer's off. My sniffer must be off. My intuition here must be off because I did not sniff that this was coming. Yeah. But I'm pleased that it did. So thank you very much. Wow. Thank you so much. Also, I just wanted to ask, how are you?
I'm fine.
Are you? What are you cooking?
I need to cook more greens.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just some more greens. Maybe just a little bit more roughage.
Maybe some roughage. Maybe just green materials, something with a lot of vitamin K in it.
Ketamine. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know about ketamine. I don't want to put that.
We're going to open up your third eye with some ketamine. Got it.
I'm thinking something that just gets the system moving a little bit better.
Health and wellness.
I need some circulation, and vitamin K is good for your circulation all over your body, if you didn't know that. So I would really like some vitamin K. I need to prioritize some protein.
Same.
Yeah, I just feel
okay.
That way. How do you feel?
I feel fine. I wanted to tell you two things that I haven't told you since I've seen you last. That I just want to catch you up on. No. These are just more friendly catch up things.
Okay, cool.
One is I went to a head spa. Have you seen?
You told me you were going to go.
All right.
You didn't tell me about going.
I did go. So I've been looking. So I love YouTube. We all know this. Blah, 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 woo, woo. Yeah. I love YouTube. And on YouTube for years, I've been watching. In Japan, it's super popular to go to these head spas. And they analyze your scalp health, and they get in there and they do treatments to really help revitalize the skin on the top of your head. And they also give you just massages, and they scratch your noodle. I don't know. It looks incredible.
Basically, please.
Yeah. Yes. So around Atlanta, these head spas have been popping up. And I went with one of my girly girls, Tiffany, recently. We went together to this one in the Atlanta area, and it was insane. At one point, I thought I was getting a goddamn bath because they're hitting you with water from all directions from your shoulders up. Okay, it's not just your head. They make you change into a full-on strapless spa garment, and your noodle is kind of in this basin, but also your shoulders are exposed, and they're putting water all over your chest and your shoulders and your head, and they're hitting you with all sorts of devices that are vibrating to get to the root of the scalp. anyway, I went. I do recommend. I don't know if it's coming off like I recommend it or not, but I do recommend.
Great. It sounds awesome.
It was beautiful experience.
Yeah.
I think you need to go. And I think just based on what you just said about like the more greens and protein, I think this could be a good thing for you to do. Yeah. I think you need to go and get your head massaged.
So Atlanta Head Spa.
Hi.
This is your chance. We could be doing an ad right now. Right
for
here.
You. For your head spa. I do recommend though. There's several that are popping up. And if you need kind of like an unexpected relaxation type vibe that also leaves you with a blowout.
An expected one.
Well, I think I just wasn't expecting it to be so full service relaxation.
Well, the blowout is surprising. You did say blowout at the end.
Yeah, you get a blowout. Depending on where you go, you know, you need to, but you do get a blowout. And just wanted to let you know I did that. I do recommend it, but be prepared to be wet from your shoulders up. I wasn't expecting that part. And then second, I just wanted to tell you that I would like for you and I to start saying a certain word more and putting it more into our like vocabulary with one another.
Which one?
Clobber. We don't say clobber enough. Like I'm gonna clobber you.
I think you're right.
Like I clobbered them. That car clobbered that other car. Like I just want to start using that
clobber
more.
Is like sounds very like in alignment with who we are.
Yeah, and I just feel like I heard that word and I was like, we don't say that often enough.
We don't say it enough. There is actually a TikTok that I sent Yankee that is a like is a like slew of Victorian slang.
Oh,
I can't remember one. Coffee mates is one. I remember. Coffee mates is what you say that's bestie.
Your coffee
This is my coffee mate. Which makes so much sense. But really like every single, I wish I had my phone right now. But if I look them up, like every single one of them, I read them and I was like, me and Jessi have to say all of these.
Well, you're going to have to
get a life, get a grip, get to the point, clobber them with my coffee mate, so on and so forth.
Do you know who would say clobber as well?
Dwayne The Rock.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
The Rock.
He would say, I'm going to smell your cooking and then I'm going to clobber you.
Smell your what?
Smell what The Rock is cooking.
Oh, cooking.
Did I not say that?
No, I thought.
Sometimes my tongue gets going, girl. I don't know. And so I do you know how often I scare myself that what I thought my brain thought I said I did not say. In fact, I
thought you said The Rock will smell
what I'm cooking.
Your
my cookie.
I didn't say it. She did.
Honestly, I didn't say that. If you heard that, please do not report that to Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Also, he is happily married. I want to report.
Say that.
I also want to say I respect his family and his wife. That is what I want to say off the rip,
tippy top,
off the top. I respect that man
of the pot
and his family. Dwayne, bring your wife. I think her name's Lauren. I think she's in the music industry. Bring her.
Lauren is invited.
Yeah. Anywho,
she's a personality hire.
Back to clobbering. I want to clobber this episode in a positive way. And we want to talk about women's intuition.
Yeah, which is crazy.
I did have something that I felt like could get us going on this topic. Shall I say it?
Shall.
Okay.
Coffee mate.
Hailey and I recently went to sort of like this networking event, whatever. And we ran into this woman who, she is by trade, a hair stylist. And she brought something up that I honestly had never really thought about before that I am ashamed to admit, actually, as someone who likes to get treatments done. I love to get massages, like stuff like that. But she had brought something up where if you work in a profession where you're consistently touching people, and whether it's a masseuse, whether it's you do nails, whether it's you're a physical therapist or a doctor or a hairstylist, whatever it is, if you touch people for a living, you take on their energy. You take on like things that they're bringing to you during your time together. Like that has to go somewhere, that energy. And she was describing how a lot of times
it transfers.
It transfers to the person providing the service and vice versa if you're receiving the service. And then she was talking about how sometimes with certain clients, she has to walk away and literally shake the energy off.
Yeah.
Because quite like a physical shaking to get it off because it's just so intense. And I had never thought about like people who are.
We feel that. We
feel that when
we speak with people.
But I guess I just never thought about it in the way of like, if that's your profession, if that's your job,
always,
oh my gosh, you're always assuming. And one of my best friends is also, she does my hair, and I'm like, oh my God, like not only is it physically draining for what you're doing, but it's exhausting in a sense of like assuming these people's just taking on their energy they're bringing to every day.
And like a lot of times when people go to get their hair done, they're excited to go do that because they're like, okay, I have this time. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to relax. And I'm just like, this is what I'm doing. So like, this is all I have to focus on. So they sit down in the chair and then their stylist says, how are you doing? And then they just vomit. They vomit all their stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think about it all the time. I think we got going on that because I said something. I was like, I don't know. I think about it a lot, that I think I could never be a hairstylist for the sole purpose that I could never listen to that much dirt in a day.
I have to say though, you and I, maybe it goes to like to our intuition and also just our social awareness. When my stylist or when somebody doing something like that asks me how I am,
are your kids? We ask about the school schedule and then I drop it.
No, I'm not ever
going to tell you anything about me. No. Why? Because one, it's not your business. And also subscribe, save, share the episode with a friend. Like I save it for the pod.
I respect you.
Yes.
And I know you actually don't want to hear my bullshit.
No, like they don't. No,
but not everyone is like that. Some people truly treat it as like a little therapy sesh and they're going to dump it on the person.
Well, I know this when I talk to people. And if you're listening and you're like an acquaintance of me, like we're not besties for the resties. We're not live, laugh, love. This is a heart shape I'm doing with my hand.
Oh,
I see what's happening.
Yeah. Face to face.
It's a lot. But when I say, how are you doing? What's going on? And you spill your beans to me, just know I think in my brain, homie really thought I said, how does that make you feel? Like,
but are you saying like,
no, how are you doing? Hey, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing?
You're saying
I saw
when
that you
it's
were in
like
that play. That's awesome.
You're saying like in a situation where it's maybe like it's like a drive-by clobbering where you don't really want to know.
I'm asking you how you are.
Yeah.
Say I've got the sniffles, back up, or good or bad. Honestly, life blows.
But don't give me the deets.
No
deets.
I get it. First of all, if you said life blows, I'd be like, I understand it's an election year. Hate to bring that up, but you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be shocked out of my kahunas. Like, I get it.
You want to be clobbered out of your kahunas?
Yes, I want you to not clobber me with your emotions.
I don't want to be clobbered with emotions, but I also think I use my intuition.
Be a coffee mate.
And my Spidey senses. If I can feel if a person, I can typically feel the level that the person wants to go to, if that makes sense. Like whenever I'm in a conversation, I use my Spidey senses, I use my women's intuition, and I can sense if they really, sometimes too, you can sense as a woman, if the person asks you, how are you? The way they say it, you're like, okay, I can understand you're asking me this because you want me to reciprocate because you got something you want to tell me. You got something you need. You got something you need to lay on me.
Jessi's really good at that one.
And sometimes, I'm a question asker. I like to know things. I be asking questions and I really care about the answers. I do be asking questions. Yeah. But sometimes the questions I do ask, if I establish a relationship that's too deep too quickly, then I start getting answers to things I don't really want to know in the first place.
Yeah.
But that's my own fault. I shouldn't have established that relationship,
One time, and we talked about this in the first episode of Personality Hour, but one time Jessi and I were at a hotel bar and we made lifelong friends. And we found out that someone's family is taking advantage of her. Like, we literally found out everything. I think about her every day. She's now engaged.
Her name's Holly.
She's a Neil Lane Diamond from LA.
She's from Ireland.
She is. And her fiance now is British. He loves Atlanta United.
Their families don't get along. It's kind of like a Capulet and Montague situation. Yeah. And she did a cry at the bar. But that's neither here nor there.
We know of all of that because she likes to ask questions.
Because I like to ask questions.
He likes to ask
because
questions.
I find sometimes I can pick up that people want to tell me things. They want to tell me
they wanted
things.
to tell us. Actually, he did not want to tell us. I don't even remember his name. I remember everything about Holly. I remember we're Facebook friends.
I didn't know that.
We are.
Wait, your Facebook besties?
We have each other's numbers.
I didn't know that.
She added me on Snapchat. We are Instagram friends.
Now I feel upset because hello, it's Holly. Holly just dinged you.
Hopefully we won't hear that. If we do hear that on there, I'm gonna call the cops.
I feel like I'm sad because now I know that my actions gave you repercussions. I don't have Holly's any contact information, but you do. So sorry about that.
You don't have any.
No. Oh. That's why I feel bad. My question.
That's the Leo in me. I'm like, let's connect.
And I'm like, this has been fun.
Well, that's my life. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Exactly. Hillary Duff voice.
I do think, though, how do you feel like, I think that some people think that they don't really have great intuition. Like, do you feel like...
I think if you're a woman, you're ignoring your intuition. This happens a lot with men. And I say it like that, men. Because I think when we think of women's intuition, there's two things we know. We know if he's running around, and we know if we're about to get killed. So
I do think the older I've gotten, the more that I've been able to recognize that my like little pangs of feelings I've had, even from being a teenager on, the little pangs of like, I wonder if this could happen. I always kind of assumed that was me maybe being, I am a worrier and it's gotten worse with age, but I always assumed that I was just worrying about something. But now come to find out, when I look back, I'm like, you weren't worrying. That was your intuition kicking in and you knew something and you kind of brushed it aside. And I can't really pinpoint something that's like, really like out, or like a huge big problem that I had that I ignored that my intuition was trying to tell me about. But I will say there's like, since having a kid's really, I know that a lot of moms can identify with this, the mother's intuition aspect of like when shit's about to go down with your kid or oh my God, you just know, and there's nothing you can do about it to stop the knowingness. Like, and also it just like, it's as simple as my kid's going to fall. My kid fell, but I put my hand out because my intuition told me to. Something stupid like that. But that also has trickled into other aspects of my life. And I feel like right now, my intuition is hot. Like I'm on the hotness. I know when someone is having a rough time. I know when someone's mad at me. I know when someone is mad at the world. I know when someone is like, I just know, and I can feel it in my bones of girls and friends and whatever that I haven't even talked to in weeks, months, whatever. Like sometimes these things overcome my entire body and I'm like, this person's feeling this way. And it's fucking right.
Yeah.
And I'm really, maybe I'm in my magic girl era. I don't know. Maybe I'm in like my hocus pocus.
Janine? Make magic, sis.
I'm not as good as that as you are. But
She's magical.
I feel like I'm in my Spidey sense era, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I know what things are going down.
Yeah. And women's intuition, like, it's so powerful. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
I feel like every time that now when a friend says something to me about a guy, like if they're having guy issues or like whatever the thing is, it's usually like, I think of it mostly when I think of like, how people feel about you. Like, all of these things. And when they tell me, I'm like, you're ignoring so much of yourself because you have this gut feeling about this person. Like, even I think back to my last relationship that was like long. I go, how could I not have known that this was going to end up this way? And I didn't know that it was going to end up the way it did. But there were so many signs and feelings that I had that I knew that this person was doing, I don't know how to word this because the ops be listening. I don't know if that's true. I actually do. My woman's intuition says everybody knows everything.
And my intuition is saying I will clobber you. If anybody has anything to say
you're not my coffee mate.
No, you're not my coffee mate. And come
get a grip, get a life.
Come to your clobbering.
Get to the point.
Get to the point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna clobber you. You say the words. Say whatever you want to say.
Okay. Well, I would say that this person was putting on a mask to be in the relationship with me because in order to be with me, they had to be at a certain And if you're watching this on Spotify or YouTube,
they had to be more,
not physically.
Well, I think that this person needed to operate at a more high functioning level than he is wired to function at.
Right.
Yeah.
And so now that I see who he really is,
whomsoever he.
When do we?
I think
who he really is. I can see it on.
Now you. Also, this is going to be edited.
Yeah.
This isn't. I can tell you that right now. I don't know how edited this is going to be.
I see what's happening here. Anyway, and we were pointing for our audio listeners only. We were pointing to the computer, which is GarageBand, and the phone, which is filming.
I'm gonna edit them both.
Okay,
that'll be fine.
Anyway, I believe that he. Now I see who he really is, which is ugly. Because now he
is showing his true colors.
Yeah, he ain't acting right in the slightest. Like, not even in the slightest. And there were things that now I look back and I'm like, okay, I see in this situation when he did this, I knew. I mean, like, I knew he was the way he is. And I ignored it for so long. It sounds like I'm getting emotional. I'm actually not. My voice is just croaking out. I'm going to remove the mic right now. Okay. I'm better.
She's back.
I'm better. However, the women's intuition that I had throughout my time in that relationship, I pushed aside. I ignored because I thought, you're being crazy. You're being crazy. And I think a lot of women do that. And I hear that with my friends. Oh my gosh, it's happening again with my voice.
Tis what it is.
Tis what it is.
Come on, coffee mate, spit it out.
I'll clobber you. But I think that was funny. I think that women oftentimes ignore their women's intuition. And here we are to tell you today, don't do that.
Don't do it.
Listen to it. Listen to your fart.
Listen to your heart.
And it's tuning for you.
I think you and I both are good at this. And I think this is intuition, like, adjacent or maybe centered. But when we meet people, I can tell right from the very moment you speak what your vibe is. I can tell how you perceive me.
And your intentions.
I can tell
That's
your
one
intentions.
thing. I know your intentions. The second you walk up to me and start yapping, if you're in it for the wrong reasons, I can feel it.
And I think sometimes
and I ignore it so much.
Well, we're in situations sometimes where we have to be in like various scenarios with these people often. Like, sometimes you can't control who's around you. Yeah. Sometimes you're going to be in situations around with other people all of the time, even if you don't care for them or even if you can see through them in whatever way that means for you. Like, you got to be in certain situations with them. But I just love now that I feel like we're both in a phase where I can see it, I can clock it, and I don't have to It doesn't mean so much.
Affect you.
It doesn't affect me anymore. I don't feel like I have to. I don't feel like I have to tell that person to be like, I see you. Okay. Like, old me would have been like, I know that you have it out for me, or I know you don't like me, or I know you told so-and-so some bullshit about me. And now I'm just kind of more like, I see you. And also it's unfortunate for you because you'll never get to know the real me.
Yeah.
You'll just get to see this version of me where I'm just being guarded because you're a prick, because my intuition is telling me that I need to clobber you, but I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to hold back.
Also, prick is so funny.
That is funny. But some people are just pricks. Like, that's just like, there's no other way to put it.
It sounds like a bad word, but it's honestly, when you think of what a prick is, it's not.
I think it's like,
because it's like a thing on a floor.
It is, but I think it's really intended to like be an opposite of saying that they're a dick, like a prick, like like you're a little prick. Like, you got a little prick. We can say that on the pod. Like, we can say dick on the pod too.
You say prick dick.
I don't know. I mean, I just said prick dick. Every time I upload this podcast, it says, "Is this for children?" You know what I put? No, and they say, "Is it explicit?" And I say, "Yes," because I want to say prick dick. And if I want to say it, I'm 30 years old and I have a podcast. If I want to say that, I'm going to say it.
Well, I'm actually laughing.
Did your intuition tell you we're going to go here today?
No.
Also,
actually, I kind of knew.
You kind of knew.
We're personality hires.
It's fine.
I knew it. That's hilarious. I think that I think that one thing that Jessi's really good at is I give people passes all the time. I really do. I give everybody a pass because I think everybody deserves a little prick energy in their life.
You're good at being graceful to people.
Yes,
you give
it's
people
my middle
grace.
name. It's my childhood trauma.
It's true.
My parents actually, they should go to prison for giving me Grace as a middle name. Because
Why? Wait, do you mean that for real?
No.
Okay, good. I didn't know if you were about to just be like, because I hate that middle name. I love your middle name. You're Hailey Grace.
No, I don't. I hated it growing up.
Why?
Because my grandparents, both sets, would say Hailey Grace. Like I was just Hailey Grace. So like when people say Hailey Grace, like I will turn the way I turn for Hailey.
Got it.
Like Hailey Grace. Like Hailey Grace is my name as well.
Got it. Okay.
It's literally my name, but it's my Facebook name too.
You had a double name.
Yeah. Like for some people.
Hailey Grace.
Yeah. Some people called me Hailey Grace. So if you would call me Hailey Grace, there was people in college that I met, and because they were in denial that I wasn't Southern, and I think they just wanted me to be Southern, they would call me Hailey Grace.
I was going to say, I could see that. I could see that in Alabama, people being like.
No, like frat boys.
Oh.
Fraternity brothers would call me Hailey Grace.
What?
I think they were in denial that I wasn't from the South.
They were also not using their
They'd
intuition.
always be like, you're from near Memphis, right? And I'm like, St. Louis.
Near Memphis?
Like, I think they would try to skirt around every which way that I wasn't from the South.
Well, look.
I hung out, like all my besties were Southern.
Well,
yeah.
That makes
I know Yankee friends.
For me.
I'm just a Yankee, apparently.
Are you a Yankee?
I'm a Yankee.
Where's the line? Where's the line?
Mason-Dixon.
Well, okay. So anything like above
the Bible
Mississippi?
Belt.
Anything above the Carolinas?
I would say
anything above Kentucky?
I think half of Kentucky is in the Mason-Dixon.
Oh,
so
God.
I would say Kentucky, you're safe.
Okay.
Anything in the Midwest, you're not safe.
You're a Yankee?
You're a Yank. Yeah.
I don't. Also,
you're a Northern
Yankee. That's
a
crazy.
Yankee is a mean thing to say in the South.
Do you know what is the craziest song I've ever heard in my life?
No.
Yankee Doodle. That is the He
I
went to town.
My neck, my back, lick my. Like that's
crazy
song I've ever heard.
But Yankee Doodle, he went to town.
The excavator
he
song.
was riding on a pony. Then he stuck a feather in his hat and he called it macaroni. Why?
You're insane.
Why did he do that?
Clobbered. You're not my coffee mate.
Why did he call it macaroni? Why did he do that?
We never got an explanation. What is your women's intuition?
Did you steal that feather? No one told you could pick that feather up. What kind of a feather was it?
Oh my gosh. Bird hair.
Full circle. Are you are Yankee Doodle. You're right. You are a Yankee.
I'm Titty Bean.
Nope, you're Yankee Doodle. You put a bird hair feather in your cap.
I didn't touch it. It was you all along. You were bird hair.
Put a feather in his cap.
I'm Titty Bean.
And called it macaroni. Ya ta 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 ta. I'm gonna clobber you. Hey.
Wow, that was stunning. My women's intuition did not tell me we were going there. I'll tell you that.
I think I lost my. There's there's a Piglet. It's called Piglet's Big Movie or Piglet Movie or something like that. And Carly Simon, who I love.
You're so vain.
Yep, Carly Simon. She did the entire soundtrack to that movie.
There's
every song.
Carried it on her back,
top to bottom.
She got a fat check for that.
There's a song called A Mother's Intuition where she sings it about Kanga and Rue.
Oh.
I mean, it's fine, but it just I've just been listening to that in my head the entire time we've been here.
Wow.
And then there's
because I've never heard this song.
It's terrible, but then another song that she sings in that same movie is oh my god. This isn't even funny. She sings with a
I have no idea what's about to happen.
She says, with a few good friends or a stick or two, with a house and a home, with a bear called Pooh. And she's talking about how they're going to build Pooh a house. But she says, with a few good friends and a stick or two.
She wrote it.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say, with a few good friends and a stick or two, we'll build a house with a real good view. Instead,
it might say that.
For a bear named Pooh.
I don't recommend that movie. But she does sing about mother's intuition. So that's where I was going with that.
But you do need a few good friends and a stick or two.
You'd always need a stick. Definitely 2 would be preferable to 1. Hailey, what the hell? I don't even know.
One time, me and my friend Anna English in college. This is crazy. It's about a stick.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, tell me.
We were driving down the road and we thought there was a dead squirrel laying dead center in the road. Like, we both imagined, we had to talk about it afterwards, but we both imagined it, that the squirrel had its arms up high above its head and its legs down low below, its belly. Like hands up, legs down sort of situation, sprawled across the road. And we were like, oh my God, we both thought it. It's a normal Tuesday, by the way. And then we passed it and she goes, it was just a stick.
It was just a stick? And you thought it was a squirrel?
But it was a dead squirrel. And so now, like, when we see each other, we still, years later, we still go, it was just a stick. Like, because that's how she said it. She was like, it was just a stick. And it was just a stick. And our woman's intuition, we're talking about how, like, women's intuition is so strong. No, it was just a stick.
I want to say
sometimes it is just a stick.
I have a story to say that reminded me of that story. It was one time I had a cat named Prudence when I was younger. And when Matt and I were dating, one time I went out of town and he left the door open and my beloved cat escaped for days. And so Matt knew that I was upset.
I can't believe you got it back.
Well, listen up. So then Matt went around town. He made flyers and that said missing cat. One time a lady called him that lived on our street and called him sobbing and said, I'm so sorry to have to tell you this, but I just saw your cat. She's dead in the middle of the road by this landmark, whatever. You might want to go get him. So Matt drives to go see, and it's a goddamn raccoon in the road, not my cat, with his arms stretched out straight above his head. And she thought they were little kitty cat paws, but no, it was a raccoon. And then I found Prudence in my neighborhood a couple days later.
You found her.
Well, the neighbor called me and said, hey, we found a cat. Okay, well, when I found her, she was in my neighbor's house. My neighbor had scooped her up out of the bushes.
It's always like that.
And said, I think I have your cat. And by God, she had my cat.
Okay.
Which was crazy.
Women's intuition. I did not know this.
With a few good friends or a stick or two.
I did not know that my dog was still with us. But my dog, growing up, I had a dog named Jetta. J-E.
Like the Volkswagen?
Yeah. It means jet black in German. Oh. That's what Jetta means.
Okay.
It means jet black.
Okay.
So I had a miniature schnauzer named Jetta. We got her when I was like 5, maybe 4. Like, this dog lived until I graduated from college. Like, I'm not kidding. This dog had many lives. Maybe my sophomore year of college, the dog goes missing. My dad could let Jetta out before she became senile, and she knew her yard and she wouldn't leave the yard. She'd just go potty, and we also had bird dogs at the time. So sometimes those bird dogs would annoy her. They were British Spaniels, and she would walk away from them, which meant further out of our yard. Any Hoosers, she goes missing, and my dad is convinced that like a fox or a wolf got her. Like, what? I mean, I think a fox. Like, that's what was getting dogs around our area. Oh. Something crazy like that. We were convinced she's dead. Anyway, very sad day. I thought my dog had died. She'd gone missing. That's all we knew. Weeks later, my neighbor, who's a child, is walking her dog in the neighborhood and says, I saw Jetta. Told my dad, I saw Jetta. She was in the home of a neighbor. So my dad goes to the house because this little girl was very smart. She wasn't young enough that you couldn't believe her. Like, she was at the age that, like...
Also, she went out of her way to be like, listen up. I saw some.
And also, she was so old, this dog, that she had a tumor on her side that was so, like, you saw it. It was benign, thank goodness, but you saw it.
She had an identifying mac.
Yes.
She had a mac on her side.
Yes.
It was a tumor. It was a tumor.
It was a tumor. It was benign, but it was there. Anyway, so my dad goes to this house. He knocks on the door. Jetta comes barking up to the door. It's like a glass, like the sides of the door were glass. It was like a double door thing. And so my dad sees Jetta, knows it's Jetta. And the woman sees my dad and hides. Okay, guys, just wait. So then my dad goes the next day, knocks on the door. The woman sees him and hides. She goes, my dad said, this is sketchy. So he gets the police involved. He tells her first. He sees that she sees him. And he goes, okay, well, I'm going to bring the authorities next time. He does. Guys, this went all the way to court. We almost went to a trial.
For your dog?
For the dog. Because then these people were saying, well, this dog was abused. Because we didn't get her groomed like a schnauzer, because we groomed her ourselves, because she was so old. She hated going to the groomers. So we cut her hair ourselves, and we are no groomer. So we don't give her a schnauzer cut. Her nails were fine. Like, everything was fine. They said because she had a tumor that she was abused. Like, all this stuff. Anyway, we got her back. She was wearing a sweater when we got her back. We almost had to have, like, police escorts to get her dropped off. Oh. Like, it was so crazy. They almost went to court for it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Why? Was this lady, like, 100 years old and nutso?
No, she was an alcoholic.
Okay, so she was just a Looney Tune.
It was very strange. And when she dropped her off, her and her, like, friend... I'm winking at the camera. I think it was her girlfriend. She had a husband.
Oh,
but
okay.
I think she also had a girlfriend.
Okay.
And they came into our home, and they spoke to us and they called her Lucy because she was loose when they found her. No, this woman walked into our yard and took.
Oh, had to have.
Jetta.
That's crazy.
And she kept calling her. She go, Lucy. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, what's her name again?
But get out.
I was like, I truly. I can't even
crazy
tell you how weird you have to be to do that. No, you're in jail. You're in prison.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You know whose intuition wasn't kicking in?
Mine.
For her? No one's. Honestly, no one's intuition.
Except my neighbor, and I'm not going to say her name. But
the only person
she saved us
who had intuition in that whole thing was Jetta, because they said, I'm going to intuitively try to... I don't know. I can't wrap that up. I was going to try to wrap that in a bow and be like, you know what?
Jetta was senile.
Poor Jetta.
She literally didn't know where she was. I don't think she understood that she wasn't at home. Thank goodness, though, that because there was one time a year before that she went missing for like a week, and construction workers found her. She was singing.
Jetta wasn't very bright.
Jetta, jing, jing, jing.
Jetta. I want to say that I can smell what The Rock is cooking. I have been able to this whole episode. My intuition was kicking in the minute I put the shirt on. It really helped me.
Because you smelled what The Rock was cooking.
It just like gave me, I feel like it gave me like a little something extra once I put the shirt on.
And I do have to say, if you're a man and you're listening, we know what you're cooking.
Ugh, and I don't want any of it.
No,
really
we're
don't.
over you, first of all.
I don't want anything.
But like, if you're running around, if you're being bad...
We can intuitively smell what you're cooking.
No, we know what you're doing. And I do have to say that because this episode is women's intuition.
And did it go off the rails a little bit? It did. And does it always go off the rails? Just a little.
Yeah, we're going to hire a lawyer. How bad this went off the rails.
But, you know, that's what the fun of being a personality hire is. Yeah. In this podcast is we start with one place and we're going to end in another. And guess what?
We are HR.
We're HR. We're the hiring manager. And guess what? We're also...
Out of our minds.
Out of our minds. And I'll never, ever try to deny that.
I don't want to be in my mind.
I'll never deny that.
It's an election year. I don't want to be in my mind.
I know
Get me out of here.
You know, the other...
I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here.
I just feel like
It was just a stock.
It was just a stock.
It was not a dead squirrel. It was just a stock. It was not a raccoon. It
wasn't your cock. It was a raccoon.
It was not a prude. It was a raccoon.
It was not a prude. Also, what a good name. Prudence was a great name.
Prudence is a great ass name.
Anywho, I think I've said my piece on women's intuition, and I think it's clear that I'm delusional. That maybe I think I have it and I don't. But you know what? Don't test it. Don't test it because maybe you'll find out I do.
No, you definitely have it.
Don't test
I think
me.
Jessi has it if anyone. Yankee has it if anyone. However, I know if you're running around.
She do. It's true.
And I know if you're secretly the worst man, the smallest man who ever lived.
She knows. She knows.
If you're an op, which you are, and you're listening, which you are.
We know.
You're the smallest man who ever lived. Please do not like and subscribe. It's okay, yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys,
we're always testing this old garage band.
The tech is teching. It's not. It's talking, if you will.
We are not women in STEM.
I want to say, just final closing thoughts. I do want Dwayne The Rock Johnson on this podcast, Mr. Johnson. If you're listening, or if you have any ties to Mr. Johnson, please push this to him.
Pop it to it,
Tui Poppy. Also, I love your body wash. I love it. I used it I swear I used it this morning.
Poppy.
I really did use it this morning. And I would also like to say we're back. Dare I say better than ever? I don't know. Who knows?
I think you can dare.
And we are we're gonna have more fun. Let's just let this happen. Let's just ride the wave together. Let's just see what happens.
Jerry O said we should ride the wave, so I'm gonna ride the wave.
I'm
and if you haven't listened to that episode, here we are swinging back again to say, are you kidding me?
Rate.
You didn't listen to that episode?
Please go listen to it. Rate, review, subscribe.
Share this episode with a friend.
Please share with a pal.
No, that is... I know I violently come on and I say every episode that Jerry O'Connell... I was nervous to say it in front of Jerry. But if you don't share this with a friend, you're not a friend.
Please share with a pal. Rate, review, subscribe. Please make sure you're following us on Zglam. And we will
post a lot of reels.
So. We will see you next Thursday.
Janine, take us home, sis.